Hey, Andrew and Joey here without House Saloon. We're going to try to do a little match reaction recap of the finally getting a point on the road for Charlotte against Colorado. And amazing point. Glad we got it. Wish it would have been better. Oh well. But anyway, just what we're going to do here is we're going to start off by pulling up the player ratings using Who Scored. All right, so here we go. And just go over the lineup real quick. We did the normal 4-4-2 diamond with Kalina in goal, back four of Lindsay, Carujo, Fuchs, and Mora, midfield four of Bronico, Franco, Ortiz, Alcivar, and the normal two up top of Swiderski and Rios, and then sub appearances of Bender, Ruiz, Gaines, and Jones. All right, so here you can see all of their ratings that Who Scored gave them. Honestly, until the second half for me, like not really much happened. So, for the ratings, I'll just like give or take them, whatever. Andrew, is there anything that stands out to you though?
Yeah, I thought, Mora on left back, to my eyes, he was probably a little higher rated than Fuchs got in the middle. Definitely, we were more defensively solid when he plays left back. So I like to see that. So that was good. And then the other one that stands out that might be a surprise to some people, but Rios scored higher than Swiderski, and I thought Rios had a better game than Swiderski as well. Could be due to tactics, but Rios had some of the better chances of the night. Unfortunately, he's still looking for that first goal, but it's definitely not a lack of trying. He's getting there. And then the only disappointment for me, was Ortiz. I thought he could have been involved in the game more than he was. So I was a little bit disappointed to see that. We kind of tried to do that in the second half, but as Joey, you noted, the first half's kind of just a wash with what was, going on.
Yeah, so for me, as far as the ratings go, I'd say they're all like within a point up or down about where I'd put everybody. Fuchs, definitely I would have gone on the lower end of that. Otherwise, I think it's about right. On the other side, Yarborough is man of the match with, the highest rating. That totally makes sense. He had that one little passage of play where he just went out of his mind and stopped everything. And, really don't have much to say about the ratings at all. There is one glaring thing that we will discuss, but we're going to save that for the end, which is the obvious controversy of Gaines, his chance that he had where he didn't lay it off to Swiderski. But that'll be a little bit of a longer discussion. So unless you have anything else to add about the player ratings that Who Scored had, we can just go ahead and move on to the officials and to Coach Miguel.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the officials. And now I'm going to preface this by saying that I don't really have much of an opinion. This is solely on you, Andrew, since you are the resident official in-house. So what do you think?
American football. I thought they did well during the watch along. Alcivar got a really, really soft yellow for touching the ball as the Colorado player was trying to place it. Technically, yes. And as I said at the time, as long as he's consistent and gives soft yellows all night, I'll take it. And of course, we got some more soft yellows. So he was consistent. I didn't see anything really wrong. The appropriate amount of time, in my opinion, was added. No major glaring issues. 6 out of 10, only just due to the kind of softness of the yellows. But other than that, for an MLS officiating crew, I'm not going to complain too much.
Yeah, I'd say we've definitely seen worse even this season. So I have nothing else to add for that. Now, we get on to Coach Miguel. And We settled on a consensus of 7 out of 10, but I think it should be a little lower. But let me hear what you have to say first.
So I think it should be, I'm on the higher side because this match showed a change in philosophy from the New England match. The first half was just long ball, hoof city, and it was not working at all. And I was, and I watched on, we were scared, like, is this going to continue? Because we don't want to see them keep hoofing the ball. Because again, at the U.S. Open Open Cup match showed when they play through, they can link up and actually do pretty well playing through the box. So when they came out in the second half and their tactics changed, I was mildly surprised. I think they learned from the New England game. He switched it up. The long ball percentages went down. The dribbling went from non-existent to, I think, 12 successful dribbles. And the crosses went from, again, pretty much non-existent to actually putting crosses into the box with people standing in the box to receive them. So I would give him a higher rating because I think he recognized the deficiencies in the first half, and actually in this game compared to the England game, he made the tactical switch to stop playing the long game and start trying to link up more and more, which honestly I think benefited the team. And I think, if you would take a momentum through the second half, honestly, I felt like we had the momentum almost the entire half. I think we controlled the game. Again, finishing, we'll talk about, is an issue, but I really liked what they did when they made that tactical switch at halftime. So I hope to see more of it. I'd like to see them come out in that style, but, we'll see what happens.
All right, so let me start off by saying the positives. First of all is the starting lineup. This is pretty much exactly what I wanted to see. I would have had some minor tweaks here or there. Like I don't really rate Bronico that highly. I'm ecstatic that Ortiz is back in the starting lineup. And then of course moving Fuchs back to the center back, it just calmed the back line down. Mora, while he is not as attack minded as I would prefer, he's way more defensively sound than Fuchs is out there on the left wing. And then Lindsay, couldn't ask for anything more from him. He does everything and does it well. That said, there's some glaring issues that I have with how Coach Miguel runs his tactics. So when we play off of the ball, we seemingly sit back, and I don't know if we are sitting too far back, like more than what Coach Miguel wants, but there's too many times where we will leave somebody wide open, and once the ball is played to them, either through a cross-field switch or them just playing up the middle and hitting the outlet on the outside, we do not close down. There were a few times where on our right-hand side, Lindsay would close down immediately, but anytime it would come to our left, nobody would close them down, or they would just jog. And that, once again, created some chances where they were able to get off some decent crosses and, proved to be an issue. But, defensively, we stayed resolute and kept a clean sheet. And then the last thing I'll mention with Coach Miguel, and everybody has said this from day one, basically, is we just want the subs to come on sooner. I agree with how we sub today. Bender, Ruiz, Gaines, and Jones coming on, pretty much exactly who I wanted. I just wanted them to come on sooner, man. You saw the impact that Gaines had, but if he would have had 10 more minutes, I don't know, could have been better. So I don't know. For that reason alone, I'd probably go about a 6 out of 10, but I'm not going to argue too much.
But admit it, you were glad to see the second half tactics change.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah. So the whole long ball thing, no, can't stand that, especially when, like, I wonder if it'll show up here. Fuchs, yeah. Let's. So past success, and then where's the long balls? Yeah. Well, anyway, uh, success of 79% for Fuchs, and a lot of the long balls that came out of that either immediately went out of bounds or the guy was dispossessed instantly because he got the long ball covered up by 3 people already. But yeah, the second half was a lot better going up through the middle.
So you ready to talk about the elephant in the room?
Yes, which brings us to what definitely should have gotten us the 3 points is McKinze Gaines. Let me get this out of here. All right. So for anyone who hasn't seen it, which I'm sure everyone has by now, McKinze Gaines got the ball from Bender intercepting the ball at midfield and just amazingly hit Gaines on the right-hand side. Gaines turned on his burners and just flew past the Colorado Rapids defenders, which led him, he got ahead of them, and he was in a position where, was he inside the box at this point, or was it just outside the box?
He ended up taking the shot just inside the box, but as far away as you could have been.
Yeah, so he just got inside the box, and he was one-on-one with the keeper. It was relatively tight angle, but out, past the 2 defenders that he was ahead of, Swiderski was literally wide open on the other side of the goal and had easy chip-in shot. It would have been the easiest shot Swiderski could have ever had, probably. But, Gaines kind of wanted to, I guess, make his claim for a starting spot and just saw a goal and tried to go for it and just hit it right into the keeper. What's your initial reaction from seeing that?
So my initial reaction on the live stream was like, why? Why? Because we all could see Swiderski was running wide open.
Yeah.
The more I think about it is, he's fighting for a spot. He's a striker. Obviously, he's confident in his ability to try to beat the goalie. He had 3 decisions, essentially. He chose probably the poorest of the 3 to take the shot further. I mean, obviously, if he kept going in the angle, eventually he would have been forced to pass, I think, because the angle would have closed down too much. So, again, my initial reaction was no, like screaming, like, why? But you have to understand, he's a younger player. He's trying to get in that starting 10. If he scored, no one would have said anything. Like, people would be like, oh, Gaines needs to start. So, I like that he has confidence in himself. And as I said on Twitter, I think Miguel will sit him down, show him what the options were, and, take this as a learning lesson moving forward. Any hate or things he's getting on Twitter or anything like that, I think is a little much because he is young. He doesn't play that much. So, of course, he's going to try to make an impression when he gets a chance. So at the end of the day, we got a 0-0 draw. So honestly, it didn't affect really anything other than potentially getting our first wins. The other thing is we're all assuming he's going to make the pass. There is a complete chance that he fluffs the pass, and then we'd be yelling something else. So I don't know. I'm okay with it. I mean, if the situation presents itself again, and he chooses to do the same thing with a clearly wide open person calling for the ball, I mean, you could clearly see Swiderski was wanting the ball. If it keeps happening, I'll be concerned. I just think, he freshly in as well. How about Swiderski also staying on side? That's also really good to point out in this picture. So, I wish he would have gone in closer a little bit if he was going to shoot it. But again, that would kind of take the angle a little bit away. But Yeah, I mean, I'm going to defend him just by saying, he just came into the game literally, and he got the ball, and he doesn't play, and he's trying to make an impression. And again, if he scores, I mean, everything saying about it would be like, what a wonder goal, or like amazing. So, yeah, I think this is a learning lesson for him. Hopefully, this kind of shows also why he may not be getting the time, the decision making. But he clearly has talent. He has speed that we need. Um, so again, learning lesson, painful for him. I'm sure this will come up in the film session. The other, I'm sure Swiderski might make a comment, but it is what it is. And the keeper had to make the save. Granted, it wasn't a great shot. The keeper could have fluffed it and it could have bounced back, and Swiderski could have tapped it. So again, my initial reaction was probably the same as everyone else's, screaming at the TV, because we could clearly see this. Hopefully he can see it. If he can't see it, that might be a different issue. But I'm assuming he could see it. And, he's a young player. I think we give him the benefit of the doubt and just, take it as a lesson learned. And again, we think if he makes the pass, it's a goal, but there's no guarantees. So I'm completely fine. Striker taking it, betting on himself, taking a shot. I'm okay with it in the end. Again, if it continues to happen, if we see this again, and again, then I'll have my opinion will change. But
yeah. So the only thing I'll really say is that I, definitely don't think he should have taken the shot. I do believe that he 100% should have laid the pass off. But, he's hungry for a goal. What are you going to do about it? The thing that I do not agree with is everybody that is hating on him really hard. I saw some pretty vile messages directed towards him on Twitter and Facebook. Don't do that. Seriously. Just, you can criticize him for making the wrong choice if you believe that's what happened, but leave the guy alone. Don't harass him, stuff like that. There's no room for that. All right. Well, I think that pretty much does it. We, again, ended in a 0-0 draw, got our first road point. It's very exciting. I think this is a definite improvement from our past road matches, and I'm hoping that we can build on this going forward. Yeah. Any last minute thoughts from you?
Nope. It'll be a good game in Orlando. They're, I think, second place in the East, so it'll be a good test. And I look forward to it. And I hope the tactics we, kind of learned our lesson and take it again. Keep taking the game to the teams. Mm-hmm. I think the team does better when we take the game to the teams. Home or away, it doesn't matter. Just take the game. Don't sit back.
Yep. Yeah. So hopefully we see an appearance from Camille. I think he would bring some added energy. I do not expect him to start whatsoever, but I could see 10 or 15 minutes from him. Yeah, let's we move. Let's get some more points on the road. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe and let us know what you think. If you don't agree with any of those who scored ratings, or you have, a different take on the whole Gaines situation, just let us know and comment below. Otherwise, that's it from us. Until next time, see you later.
Yep, take care.